I put those jugs in the back to catch any bullet that might have curved out the side, and it ended up looking like something totally different, but I'm super immature, so we'll leave it. All right, here we go. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you for watching. This ought to be a good one because today we have the 9mm AKV from Palmetto State Armory. This is basically PSA's rendition of the Russian Vityaz 9mm submachine gun. I think I'm saying that correctly, Vityaz. Obviously, this is the civilian legal semi-auto version since the ATF likes to restrict how much fun we can legally have. But these are actually priced right around $1,000, which is really good for a PCC like this, especially these days. And from what I hear, these are very rugged and reliable little sub guns. And I've never shot one, so I'm excited to try it out. So the AKV was released in 2019, and from what I hear, PSA basically just reverse engineered a Russian Vityaz to get this thing built and functioning properly. So it's probably not identical, but I imagine it is a pretty similar design to the original Vityaz submachine gun. And you guys know, in my opinion, there is nothing more fun to shoot than a little pistol caliber carbine like this. So let's do that. All right, my very first time ever shooting a pistol caliber AK of any kind, I believe. I've shot hundreds of guns at this point, so it's hard to keep track of them all, but pretty sure I've never shot nothing like this. Let's get it. Interesting. Oh yeah. Okay, this thing feels really good, like extremely good. One thing that surprised me, it might have just as much, if not more recoil than a 7.62 AK. It definitely has more than a 5.45, and that's the thing about PCCs. They don't necessarily kick less, they're just not as loud as rifle calibers. 5.56 and 7.62 don't have hardly any recoil either, but they do have a lot of blast, and something in 9mm or 45 ACP is just gonna be a lot less obnoxious to shoot. Plus, they work really well with suppressors because you can get subsonic ammo. Okay, I went back lefty because shooting right-handed is kind of embarrassing for me. Let's pretend that there are a gang of bad guys coming after us and see how fast we can put one round on each steel target, maybe excluding the Texas Star. I've also got a little spray paint can up there, so. Boy, I could get used to bolt releases on AKs. By the way, my shot timer's broken, so just use your imagination. Here we go. That's a twofer. Man, I got the steel through the spray paint can. Whew. This thing is so sweet. All right, let's talk about the design really quick because it is a good one. I assume most of you know how AKs work. It's probably the most simple firearm design on the planet. There's about 3 controls on the entire gun: mag release, trigger, charging handle, safety. This one also has a bolt release, which AK rifles don't have, and I love. I know a lot of right-handers prefer ARs because you can charge it up here, and on an AK, if you're right-handed, you've got to come underneath and run the charging handle like that. But as a lefty, it's perfect because you can just use your right hand, load it, clear malfunctions. The safety is also right there by the mag well, so you can pretty much access everything from this one side. It's almost like when they designed the AK, they accidentally made the perfect left-handed gun. The operation is pretty similar to a regular AK. I'm sure most of you know how those rifles work. First of all, it takes CZ Scorpion mags, which is a good thing. I'll see if I can pop the hood. Yep, so you can see the dust cover does not come off the rifle like it does on a regular AK. It stays attached, which is good. It also helps keep the optic zeroed since there is a Picatinny rail on top. The recoil spring is pretty similar to a regular AK. That probably looks familiar, but there is a little buffer right there on the back so that the bolt carrier doesn't just slam into the back of the receiver when you shoot it. This is a direct blowback rifle, so it doesn't work like a gas piston AK-47. It does have a piston on the carrier, but that is just to add weight to the bolt carrier group and balance out the rifle. It doesn't actually function like an AK. There's also no rotating bolt. It's all just one piece. And that is your entire bolt carrier group. Other than that, it does function just like an AK. Again, this one does have a bolt release as well, which I absolutely love. AK rifles do not have that. Now, one misconception that I still see quite a bit is that subguns and PCCs are no more effective than a handgun in the same caliber. A lot of people are of the belief if you're gonna use a long gun, it should be a rifle caliber. And I agree, obviously rifles are superior, but I am here to defend the honor of the pistol caliber carbine. So just because they shoot the same caliber does not mean they're equal. Number one, long guns are just much easier to shoot well, so you're probably gonna get more rounds on target. And number two, the longer barrel does add effectiveness to the caliber. The AKV doesn't have the longest barrel, I think it's 10.5 inches, but it should still improve the ballistics of the 9mm versus something like a Glock 19. Let's find out. All right, the first thing we'll do is chronograph each of these guns using the exact same ammo, 115 grain ball, and we'll start with the Glock 19. See how fast it's going. 1207, 1201, and 1233. That third one was quite a bit faster than the first two. And the AKV using the exact same ammo. I think 1233 was the fastest we got out of the Glock 19. So let's see. 1312, 1335, and 1359. Big difference. And I'll tell you another thing, I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but the supersonic crack of the bullet going through the air is a lot louder from the AKV than it is the Glock 19. So you can tell it's going faster just by the way it sounds. All right, we do not have any ballistic shell out here today, so instead we're gonna do a water jug test. And I'm just now realizing what that looks like. Nice. They say a human body is about 75% water, so this test might actually be somewhat realistic. All right, we'll go ahead and start with the AK since I think this one will probably get less penetration, and the bullet we're using is a 124 grain plus P gold dot. I put those jugs in the back to catch any bullet that might have curved out the side, and it ended up looking like something totally different, but I'm super immature, so we'll leave it. All right, here we go. How did I not anticipate that? I am soaked and freezing. I'm like 7 yards away. I did not think that that would happen. Whew. Well, I was too busy trying not to freeze to death. I did not get to the slow-mo camera in time, but we did capture the tail end of it and it looks pretty dang cool. So I believe this is water jug number 1 right there. And you can see the damage on that one. It is pretty much exploded. And then water jug number 2 is right here, and it's the only other one with a hole in it. And it sounds like our bullet is in there. There it is. Okay, that is wild. 2 water jugs from a 9mm. That really shows you, number 1, how hot that bullet is, and number 2, the extra velocity that you get from the long gun. Okay, so I think that result is a combination of the plus P ammo and the 10-inch barrel of the AKV, because I have never seen a 9mm stop in 2 water jugs. They usually go 4 or 5 at least. And if you don't know, more velocity equals quicker expansion and less bullet penetration. It also dumps more energy on target, which is probably why I got soaked 7 yards away. All right, same ammo, this time out of the Glock 19. Please don't get me wet again. Not quite as bad. Okay, I don't know, I assume it did not look quite as dramatic from the pistol as it did from the rifle. I just closed my eyes and prayed not to get soaked. So I'm not really sure, but I definitely didn't get as wet that time. Let's take a look at the results. So there's our entrance hole on water jug number 1. You could see that one was also still on the table, where from the AKV, it launched that water jug 5 or 6 feet off the table. So definitely did not hit as hard. And it looks like we have a hole in water jug number 2 and an exit hole, or maybe a partial exit hole, because we do have some damage on water jug number 3, but it doesn't look like the bullet went all the way through. Oh, I think I hear it in this one. So maybe it did go all the way into number 3. There it is. And look at the difference. On that one, we got perfect expansion. The entire bullet stayed together, and it performed quite a bit different than it did from the long gun. So obviously very different results, still not as much penetration as you would expect to see from a regular 9mm hollow point. Those gold dots must be extremely hot, because 3 water jugs is still not as much penetration as you usually get. But you can see the difference. Obviously out of the handgun, the bullet just performed perfectly, exactly as it's supposed to. And out of the AKV, it hit so hard and was going so fast, it just completely broke apart on impact. And that is similar to what you see with hollow points out of a rifle. Because they're going so fast, they typically just break apart on impact. They don't uniformly expand like handgun rounds do. But no doubt about it, that bullet definitely hit harder coming out of the AKV. So they are not equal. All right, we did this with the Chris Vector, so let's go ahead and do a long range accuracy test with the AKV. About 135 yards. And to be honest, I have not even zeroed this optic, so hopefully it's on. Miss. That was a hit. I don't even know if you guys can hear that. It's not a very loud target. Hit. 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 That was the last round. Missed the first one, got the others. Check that out. Dead center headshot at 130 yards with a 9mm. Obviously, none of the others hit the head, but we're not gonna talk about those right now. All right, now we're gonna make it even tougher. I probably won't hit this, but I have a little, like 4-inch propane can taped onto that blue target. If I hit this one, you'll probably see it. My red dot is literally covering the entire thing, so. I think it passes the accuracy test. All right, guys, that is gonna do it for the PSA 9mm AKV. I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly did. This thing is absolutely awesome. By the way, this is not my gun, so I wanna thank my buddy who let me borrow it. I really appreciate that. And I'm definitely a fan of this thing. It was 100% reliable, 0 malfunctions, very accurate, worked well, and did exactly what it was supposed to do. So What more can you ask for? Again, if you all did enjoy the video, please hit the like button for me, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.